1. The commemoration of the appearance of the bodies of Saint John the Baptist and Elisha the prophet. On this day, the Church celebrates the appearance of the bodies of Saint John the Baptist and Elisha the prophet, the disciple of Elijah the prophet, in the city of Alexandria. Julian the infidel wished to rebuild the temple of Jerusalem, having been destroyed by Emperor Vespasian and his son Titus. He intended with malice to prove the invalidity of the saying of the Lord in the Holy Gospel. Assuredly, I say to you, not one stone shall be left here upon another that shall not be drawn down. He supplied the Jewish people with money to rebuild it. He put Lebbeus, who asked the Jews to assist him secretly, in charge. Many of the Jews, men, women, old and young, gathered. They started digging the foundation with eagerness, transferring the dirt and rocks away, some with baskets and the others in the tail of their dresses. Saint Kyrillos, Bishop of Jerusalem, ridiculed what they were doing. When they finished raising the rocks of the old foundation, they started to put down the new one. A severe earthquake took place, filled the excavation with dirt, dispersed the building material, and killed many of the workers. The Jews were not terrified of that, and returned to the work again. One of the depths of the earth, fiery balls came, showering the workers with rocks and hitting them, so they stopped building. Many of them built many of them believed because of that, and especially because they had fulfilled the prophecy of the Lord Christ with their hands about the destruction of the building of the temple from its foundation. Saint Gregory the theologian and Saint Chrysostom had mentioned this incident. The Jewish historian Amian in the 5th century had mentioned this account also incidentally in his writings. Nevertheless, the Jews told the emperor reason for what happened, the presence of the bodies of Christian leaders in that place. They must be removed from it, otherwise the temple will not build. Julian ordered that the bodies of the saints be removed from the palace and burned. When they took the bodies of Saint John the Baptist and Elisha the prophet to burn them, some believers came forward to the soldiers, gave them a sum of silver, and took the two bodies. They brought them to Saint Athanasius, Pope of Alexandria. He was pleased and placed them in a special place until he could build a church for them. Until he could build a church for them. One day, Saint Athanasius was sitting in the garden with his scribe, the one to be Pope Theophilus, 23rd Pope, who succeeded him on the chair, and told him, "If God gives me long days, I will build in this place a church in the names of Saint John the Baptist and Elisha the prophet, and I will lay their body in it." When Pope Theophilus was enthroned on the chair of the See of St. Mark, he remembered what Pope Athanasius had told him. He built the church and relocated the pure bodies to it. On their way to the church carrying the holy bodies, they passed by a house of pagan woman. This woman was in labor for the last 4 days. She had a difficult labor and she was in the severe pain. When she heard the singing and the chanting of the people as they passed by, and she knew what was happening, she fought, saying, "O John, the saint of God, if you deliver me from this tribulation, I will become a Christian." Before she had finished what she was saying, she gave birth to a boy, and she called him John. Then her family her family and she were baptized. They laid the bodies with great honor in the church. Many miracles and wonders were manifested through them. As one, as one of the end, Julian the infidel was as follows. He decided to declare a war against Sapor, king of Persia. Saint Basilius the Great the order of the liturgy, and some bishops went to meet him. Emperor Julian asked them, "Why have you come?" Saint Basilus replied, "We came asking for a shepherd." He mocked them, saying, "Why did you leave the son of the carpenter?" The saint answered with courage and pride, "We left him making a covenant for you, and you have lost of wisdom and knowledge." Julian told him, "I have read and memorized it." Saint Basilus replied, "But if you did not comprehend it," Julian became angry. Julian became angry and ordered them seized and to be slain after his return from the war with Sapor. Saint Basilus told him, "You will not come back, for God has spoken by mouth." The emperor had ordered them imprisoned. The emperor went to the war. Saint Basilus prayed before the icon of Saint Macarius Abu Sefin, asking for the chastisement of the emperor because he insulted his Lord Christ. Saint Macarius disappeared from the icon, and when he returned, his sword was dripping blood. During the war, Julius was shot by an arrow in his liver. Clodoritus said in his history of the church, when this infidel emperor was stabbed, he took a handful of the blood that was pouring out of his side and scattered it toward the heaven, saying, "You have defeated me, O son of Mary." The promise of Saint Basil was fulfilled in him, and the church was saved from his evil. When Saint Macarius, bishop of Echo, was martyred, they placed his body with the bodies of Saint John the Baptist and Elisha the prophet. May his peace be with us. Amen. 2. On this day also, the church celebrates the debut of the Pope Yoannis the XVIII, the 107th Pope of Alexandria. He was of people of Ephraim, and his name was Joseph. He became a monk in the monastery of the great Saint Antonius on the Mount of El Araba. When Pope Marcus VII, his predecessor, departed, the bishops, priests, and notables of the people unanimously agreed on choosing him a patriarch. They brought him and ordained him a patriarch in the church of the martyr Saint Mercurius in Old Cairo. That was on Sunday, 15th of Baba, 1486 AM. He was called Yoannis the XVIII, the 107th Pope of Alexandria. During his days, the Pope of Rome attempted to attack the Eastern churches, and especially the Orthodox Church of Egypt, the Coptic Church to the Catholic Rite. He published the proceedings of the Council of Chalcedon. He published the proceedings of the Council of Chalcedon in a book and distributed it in all the countries of the East. This council had caused the schism of the Church, and the Saint Pope Dioscorus, 25th Patriarch, had refused to organize the legitimacy of this council. The Pope of Rome then sent an envoy to Pope Yoannis, carrying a message inviting him to be united with him. Pope Yoannis gave this message to Anba Yusuf el-Abba, Bishop of Girga. He asked him to study it and to respond to it. This great scholar and distinguished theologian replied, refuting all the claims of Rome. He defended his church, its faith, and its doctrines, a splendid defense that immortalized its memory. However, the book of the proceedings of the Council of Chalcedon brought the opposite results of what Rome expected for publishing it. The book was a proof of the sound teachings and doctrines of the Coptic Orthodox Church. The Bishop of Rome was sorry for publishing the book in the East, and he gathered its copies and burned them. During the papacy of Pope Yoannis, many tribulations and hardships befell him from the rulers and country and the Ottoman governors. The Turkish commander of the army seized the patriarchal treasury and took all its funds. That forced the Pope to disappear from the oppression and the injustice of the rulers who overtaxed the Christians with the unjust and the enormous increase of taxes stipulated from them. Pope Yoannis participated with Ibrahim el-Guhari, the head scribe at the time, in restoring the monasteries and the churches. He also made the Holy Miron. He departed on the second day of the blessed month of Paona, 1512 a.m. He remained on patriarchal chair of he remained for the patriarchal chair for 36 years, 7 months and 16 days. He was buried in the tomb of the patriarchs in the church of Saint Marcus Apostolic. The chair remained vacant 3 months and 26 days after his departure. May his praise be us and glory be to God forever. Amen.